What is happening, everybody? Trey here, and today reactions to the classics. It's time for a reaction to Siouxsie and the Banshees, and not just any reaction. It's going to be a top 10 list today, curated by our longtime patron, friend, and supporter of the channel, Deep Blue Hue, coming in here with this top 10 Siouxsie and the Banshees tracks. I'm looking forward to this. I only know a couple of their songs, and so, I'm coming in blind, man. So I always like that, discovering a group for the first time and really seeing what they got. And Deep Blue today, he did this list in chronological order, so it's not, going from 10 down to, the best song at 1 or whatever. But I kind of like whenever our patrons do that, because it gives a sense of how the band's matured over time. So just wanted to put that out in front, so you know that it's in chronological order. So shout out to Deep Blue for bringing this list, man, and let's just dive into this. I'm looking forward to this. So Siouxsie and the Banshees, if you don't know, in our research here, British rock band formed in London 1976 by vocalist Siouxsie Sioux. I just got to stop there. What a great name for a lead front woman here, and I do like that. Siouxsie, she definitely seemed a bit ahead of her time here, putting in the work as the leader of the group here as a woman in the mid '70s. I think that's great, and also bass guitarist Stephen Severn. Those are the only two members, from what I can tell, that have been on every Siouxsie and the Banshees release. Initially, they were associated with the punk scene. They rapidly evolved to create, quote, a form of post-punk discord full of daring, rhythmic, and sonic experimentation. Their debut album, The Scream, was released in '78 to a lot of critical acclaim. 1980, they changed their musical direction and became a bit of a different band almost, with Kaleidoscope, which peaked at 5 in the UK. Then they came out with Juju a year later, which reached the top 10. Then they became an influence on the emerging goth scene. Fast forward to 1988, the band made a breakthrough in North America with the multifaceted album Peep Show, which received, again, a lot of critical praise. And during their career, Siouxsie and the Banshees released 11 records, 30 singles. The band experienced several lineup changes, with Siouxsie and Severn being the only constant members. They disbanded in 1996 with Siouxsie and drummer Budgie, who he was, from my research, came in 1980. So he's on all of these songs, I believe, except for the very first one on this list. And then it seems their guitarist they had a lot of different lineup changes in that regard. They continued to record music as The Creatures, a second band they had formed in the early '80s. And then in 2004, Siouxsie began a solo career. So Siouxsie Sioux putting in the work, prolific for multiple decades, a lot of different groups, but obviously Siouxsie and the Banshees, her most famous work here. So again, just want to reiterate, this is in chronological order. I'm going to be having the lyrics up. We got 4 videos today, y'all, and then the other 6 will be hidden up on Spotify. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, hit that big red subscribe button, and if you'd like to have us react or even do a top 10 list reaction for you, you can check out our Patreon page, like Deep Blue and so many others are there to support us and keep RTTC running for y'all. Music won't be in here due to copyright, but again, there's going to be a link down there if you want to follow along and hear the music with me. So anyways, man, let's get this thing started with number 1 on the list, going back to their very, very first single, Hong Kong Garden. And this went to 7 in the UK in 2005. Q placed it in its list of the 100 greatest guitar tracks ever. It was named after the Hong Kong Garden Chinese takeaway in Chislehurst High Street. Siouxsie Sioux was quoted as explaining the lyrics with reference to the racist activities of skinheads visiting the takeaway. She said, quote, "I'll never forget, there was a Chinese restaurant in Chislehurst called the Hong Kong Garden. Me and my friend were really upset that we used to go there, and occasionally when the skinheads would turn up, it would really turn ugly. These gits would just go in mass and just terrorize these Chinese people who were working there. We tried to say leave them alone, but they didn't listen. It was kind of a tribute." So then the band's label at the time, Polydor Records, booked a big studio recording, Olympic Studios in London in July 1978, to record the song with the help of American producer Bruce Albertine, who was more into soul music. The result was not convincing. The band hated it. Their manager quickly decided to call another sound engineer, Steve Lillywhite, who had a musical approach closer to theirs. The group and Lillywhite chose to work in a more intimate place and opted for a smaller studio, the Fallout Shelter, located in the basement of Island Records. Lillywhite re-recorded the song in 2 days. It was to be his first hit record as a producer. He was hired because of his ability to get a certain sound on drums. He told the Banshees drummer at the time, Kenny Morris, to not record all the drums at the same time. Morris did the bass drum and the snare drum first, then he did the cymbals, tom-toms later. Lillywhite also added echo on the drums, adding significant space to the entire recording. And NME said about Lillywhite's work that he revolutionized the post-punk band sound with an innovative approach to laying down the drums. That's the most research we have on a single song, but with their debut single, I think it was important to just kind of lay that all on the line here. So we're going to get the video pulled up. It's also the shortest song on here with under 2 minutes. So get the video pulled up. Let's enjoy this. Hong Kong Garden starting this list off right. A cool Top of the Pops performance there from 1978. And just the look in general, man. You can already see how Siouxsie was a trailblazer and an influencer to the whole goth subculture and gothic rock genre that would be popping up in just a year or two later. Obviously, most notably Robert Smith of The Cure, which he might pop up a little bit in this list later. Keep your ears peeled for that one, man. But cool just whole editing on that video as well. I like the facts that were popping up, and she just had that a bit of spunkiness and just energy about her. You can tell that she just loves to be herself, and that's what I'm gravitated to in music, man. People who are authentic to themselves. I don't care if you can hit every single note, man. I want you to be you, and that kind of helps me relate to you, man. So I thought the bass line by Steven in there was fantastic. That was kind of the highlight for me instrumentally, and we almost had, I don't know what the percussion was, but a little Chinese inspired sounds here and there as well. Again, kind of talking, like as I mentioned, about the Hong Kong Garden and just those experiences there with the skinheads and just the racism that the Chinese people face there. To have a punk band from London sing about that, I think that's a cool subject matter, and shows that any subject was not off limits there. So fun way to start off the list here. And now we're gonna go to number 2 on the list, as now this is actually going to be on Spotify. So boom, we have Desert Kisses here from Kaleidoscope in 1980. So I'm going to pull up the lyrics for this one, and let's enjoy this. And just right out the gate, just in a unique sound blend. I kind of mentioned it in the reaction of almost that really late 70s, early 80s new wave work with a bit of that gothic sound emerging a bit, given that more upbeat new wave characteristic, a bit of a darker edge to it, which was just intriguing from start to finish in this tune. Couple that with the lyricism that deals with a bit of an all-encompassing the desert, the ocean, and this our protagonist here, who just as the lyrics note, is almost getting engulfed and feels like the world's kind of caving in on her. She noted that I kissed your face, I kissed the sand, I heard you sigh. There was no sound. There's that bleakness, I think, in kind of ominous nature that pervades this track. Guitar work was quite impressive. Almost, I don't know what type of effects they were putting on, but in the sinking down portion of the song, it almost had a bit of a watery guitar effect to it, which I thought was tight. And just the way Siouxsie delivers that sinking down, pretty delivery there, but almost it knows that I'm destined to this fate, so to speak. Really cool tune here. A little over 4 minutes long. I thought it hummed along very quickly. So 2 for 2 so far for me here on Siouxsie and the Banshees. And now we're going to go to the video Cascade Remember earlier I said Robert Smith might appear? Well, he's appearing right now, ladies and gentlemen. Robert Smith is live here with Siouxsie and the Banshees on guitar. So be tuning into this. Let's enjoy it. Wow, Cascade coming in, third song on this list right here with a very young Robert Smith on guitar here. I believe this is from 82-ish. So what, Cure's first record, I believe, came out in 79, Three Imaginary Boys. I should know, I did a review of it, actually. So I believe, Robert was in his early 20s-ish, and, not the Robert Smith that we think of today, kind of with whenever he went into that full gothic kind of persona and whatnot, and you could probably he probably took a lot of influence from Siouxsie there, man. She was captivating. Couldn't take my eyes off her as the front woman there, man. She just has a kind of a quirky charisma about her where you're just wondering, okay, man, what's up with this? But I'm digging it. This was my favorite song on the list so far. I thought the driving drums just kind of propelled the song forward. I thought the guitar work by Robert there, again, kind of that blend of that darker new wave type of sound there, and I thought Siouxsie did it was the lyrics were perfect for the way she delivered them, man. Really impressive musically there. Just a 4-piece up there, putting in the work. I like that crowd, just that whole vibe and just imagery was just something that you want to be a part of, man, or at least I do. So that was tight. And now we're gonna go back over here to Spotify and we're gonna check out the track Dazzle. It was the second single, went to 33 in the UK. The lyrics "Swallowing diamonds, a cutting throat" were derived from the final scene of Marathon Man, where Lawrence Oliver puts diamonds in his mouth. Siouxsie's vocals are accentuated by expansive reverb effects as well. All right, tight. So let me get the lyrics pulled up here and let's get into Dazzle. You already know. Gotta put a heart on that one. I know I just said Cascade was my favorite. I think this topped it, which it is interesting to note here. I was looking at the side. Robert Smith was actually all on this record as well as their previous album. So that's something I never knew. I mean, Cure were definitely up and running with multiple records deep themselves by '84. So that's pretty tight that he was able to be on this as well. I thought Budgie's drumming performance was an obvious highlight, as well as the book-ended strings. This is the opener to this album, so I think the sweet strings kind of just give us a nice fade in. What I'm learning with Siouxsie and the Banshees is you can't put them into just one box or one genre, because here again we had a mix of that a bit more pop centric, I guess you can even say, art poppy, with that just classic kind of post punk, a bit almost that industrial type of drum beat that was going in the back, and again kind of had that gothic darker edge to it with the lyricism, and yet Siouxsie was delivering a sweet vocal delivery yet again here. I enjoy a lot of the lines here. I actually watched the movie Marathon Man maybe 4 or 5 months ago. Great film if you've never seen it, but the kind of villain in there has to swallow diamonds at a certain point. Swallowing diamonds and cutting throat, your teeth when you grin reflect beams on tombstones. So again, taking things that normally look great, like those diamonds, and then turning it kind of on their head again, like that, the stars that shine and the stars that shrink in the face of stagnation. The water runs before your eyes, and then really breaks down into it. Again, skating bullets on angel dust in a dead sea of fluid mercury. Baby piano cries under your heavy index and thumb. Pull some strings, let them sing. Ooh. That's some fire lyricism right there from Siouxsie, man, and just a lovely tune. The farther we get in here, it seems like the more and more I think Siouxsie and the Banshees is going to be kind of right up my alley. This is kind of that alternative kind of 80s music is, one of my favorite types of genres here, and it seems they fit quite well into that. And now we're going to move on next to Tinderbox. A couple years later, 1986, y'all, we're going 92 degrees, and this is said to have sampled the 1953 science fiction film It Came from Outer Space. And it describes the fact that more murders are committed at 92 degrees Fahrenheit than any other temperature. The song plays off that idea and presents an apocalyptic narrative of the temperature climbing to 92 degrees Fahrenheit and staying there, which ultimately results in the total downfall of civilization as people are driven insane by the hot temperatures. Living in Texas, as I know Deep Blue does as well, we have experience with the brutal summers that routinely hit 100 degrees Fahrenheit here in my area of the woods, and it's not fun, ladies and gentlemen. It's not going to drive me to murdering anybody, but it definitely puts a damper in your mood sometimes. But about 6 minutes long here. Let's see what we got coming in here as song number 5 on our list, halfway through, y'all, and I thought this was incredibly creative, blending in that initial, 30 seconds, that sample from It Came from Outer Space, and then just deciding, hey, let's make a song and build something off of that, and let's imagine, hey, what would happen right at 92 degrees as they determine the approaching disease, and I think that tension built well throughout the track, in the lyrical content, as well as that drum beat from Budgie here, putting in the work, man. A lot of power, and just kind of machine gunned it a couple times. I don't know the technical term for that. You drummers can let me know. But went really fast. You're like, okay, something's about to go down here. And again, that guitar effects were a bit in that darker type of tone there, and just the lyrics, the volcanic depths of Hades' ocean bubble under these crazed eruptions. It wriggles and writhes and bites within, just below the sweating skin. I mean, some lyrics here, man, fit right into a horror movie. This could actually work well, as a movie plot at some point, and even drink the water with the jagged glass, eat the cactus with bleeding mouth. Not 91 or 93, but 92 Fahrenheit degrees. The society has just broken down, man. People drinking water with glass in it, eating a cactus, and I thought this was a tight tune, and you can already, again, tell some of that maturity musically and obviously thematically as well coming into play. And we're gonna stay put on Tinderbox here and go to This Unrest. And Deep Blue noted the song on the album is just before Cities and Dust, which is the only other song by Siouxsie and the Banshees I knew, because Deep Blue brought it to me a month or two ago, and you can check that reaction out on the channel if you desire. He noted at the beginning and at the end of this song, you can hear the songs before and after the album, how they cleverly connected them, something not done so much today. This Unrest coming in here, and this was a song that lived up to its name, man. I feel this could have fit in like a horror movie. It was a little bit uneasy. You couldn't just sit back and chill to this, and because the instruments, man, we were switching up quite frequently on here, which kept me engaged. I didn't think it was up to the level of 92 degrees, but that's more just a personal thing right there. And I think this is one you can kind of interpret however you want. What is it that's causing you in particular unrest? And it seems like this thing's been haunting this person in a sense for quite some time. Again, a lot of vivid, descriptive lyricism and imagery here. This unrest crucifies my chest without anesthetic. It cuts through tumorous flesh. And then it kind of goes on. You almost wonder, okay, we got maybe a spiritual component in here, just to sleep without these thoughts, but the angels shout, resurrecting doubts. There's a level of intrigue, I think, in this track that maybe is at a different level than the other songs we've heard up to this point. Again, very dark musically in there, and I think that kind of fit perfect with what they were going for on this tune, like the fade in and fade out as well into the previous and then the next track, which would be Cities and Dust. So Cool tune right there. And now we're gonna go back to a video. We got 4 songs left, 2 videos, and then just 2, songs we'll listen to on Spotify. We're going now to Peek-a-Boo, and that's gonna be from their record Peep Show in 1988. It's said to be a bit of an oddball in their catalog. It's a bit of a danceable track built around a reverse sample from John Cale's track Gun, and a manipulated vocal from Siouxsie achieved through her using a different microphone for each line of the song. During an interview, Siouxsie said the song was about the way women are portrayed in our fascist media. Song was a hit, went to 1 on the modern rock chart in 1988. So be looking at the official video from the Siouxsie and the Banshees YouTube. I can see what they mean. That sounded so far in left field from any of the other tracks that we've had up to this point. Positives for me on the first. I thought the video was really creative, especially the lighting was pretty tight. There was a one shot in particular where it was almost like a T on Siouxsie's eyes and going down nose and mouth. I thought that was pretty tight, and the different colors that were popping out. Musically, man, I gotta admit this would be my least favorite track on the list up to this point. I just I don't know. The accordion, I think part of it was the accordion, and that's up there with like the tuba for me. And my least favorite sounding instruments, especially when they're used a lot, like the accordion was in this track. The manipulation though of that sample and the backwards nature of it, it was creative and whatnot. It just wasn't something that I would go back and listen to, whereas most of the other tracks on here, I've added to my playlist, and I'll be ready to listen to them in the next few weeks and whatnot, have them in rotation. But Peek-a-Boo, not going to be one of those tracks, but I know it's a very loved, which that's ironic, man. This is one of their biggest hits on this list so far, and it was my least favorite. But if you love Peek-a-Boo, man, don't let me stop you. Don't let me stop you. It went to 1 for a reason, and I like it when a band stretches their creative legs and wasn't scared to go and tackle a song like this. So next up, y'all, we got 3 tracks left. We're gonna go to Ornaments of Gold from Peep Show as well, and let's see what we got here. Ornaments of Gold coming in. Shout out to Budgie on the drums. Another powerful performance from him. I thought he was the highlight instrumentally here. Siouxsie, great control of her voice, especially kind of crescendoing up on that Ornaments of Gold. About a million times better than what I just did. Lyrically, you had that kind of aura of elegance here. The silver couches to recline on and ornaments of gold. You get a picture of these 2 lovers here that are just surrounded by a bunch of extravagance and kind of wealth. And then I wonder if there's kind of an irony here with ornaments of gold to warm my soul from the growing cold. Ornaments of gold. Because these ornaments of gold indeed warm her soul here, or are they just going to be found to be empty in the end? That's an interesting interpretation point right there. And then again, we kind of get the elegance, the gilded treasures, anointed by intoxicating oils, drenched in riches unimaginable. Your splendor drips with jewels that are so beautiful. Quite poetic lyricism again here, and the highlights for me, man, was the way again Siouxsie delivered that Ornaments of Gold. I thought that was tight. Much better tune in my opinion than Peek-a-Boo, and it still kind of had that danceable nature to it from that drum beat. So solid tune right there. We got 2 left, y'all. We're going to go to Kiss Them For Me. We're going to jump ahead to the Superstition record from 1991. This was the lead single from this record and became their most successful single, actually. Went to 23, and it was their second chart topper on the U.S. Modern Rock track charts as well, spending 5 weeks at #1 there, and it was their first song to hit the top 10 on the US Hot Dance/Disco chart, peaking at 8, so a lot of success here in the States. It was presented as a change in musical direction, adopting a much more straightforward pop-oriented feel than their previous efforts. Siouxsie's cryptic lyrics were an ode to actress and sex symbol Jane Mansfield, using the actress's catchword Divoon, referring to her heart-shaped swimming pool and her love of champagne and parties, and to the grisly automobile accident which claimed her life in 1967. Kiss Them For Me was also the name of a 20th Century Fox motion picture made in 1957, starring Jane and also the great Cary Grant. That's got to be a first listen like right there. One of my favorites on this list, and an instance where I think they kind of went left whenever you would expect them to go right. Again, expanding that sound and testing out the waters in different genres here. That danceability to it, that pop nature, it was so sweet, a bit uplifting in that melody. You had the horns in the background, in the middle had a little breakdown with the tabla, which was something that on paper I don't think should work, but it did quite well. And the story of Jane is kind of just spread out throughout this track, which, not knowing anything about her, I thought was kind of cool, and just kind of builds that legend of Jane up, as I was mentioning in the start, talking about her catchphrase, talking about the pink champagne, which she was famous for, as I was kind of researching here on the side as the track was going in, and that heart-shaped pool of fame. Mansfield, in 1957, she bought and refurbished a 40-room mansion in Beverly Hills, painted pink. Cupids had the pink fluorescent lights, and it was then named the Pink Palace. That's pretty tight, man. In 1957, that's how you make a legend right there. But then on the road to New Orleans, a spray of stars hit the screen as the 10th impact shimmered. The forbidden candles beamed. And Mansfield died in 67, coming back. And her and two other people were killed instantly, unfortunately. And then that kind of gives new meaning to the refrain, Kiss Them For Me, I May Be Delayed, at least in my ears, man. Loved what Siouxsie did on the vocals. Again, gorgeous instrumentation, very, kind of pop-centric. And I loved it, man. This is probably going to be in my favorites, which will be coming up after this song. We're to the end, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to the last song on Deep Blue's excellent list here. We got Face to Face, a video here, and this from the Batman Returns soundtrack in 92. Went to 21 in the UK. The track was featured in Batman Returns. Tim Burton asked the band to compose the main song of the movie. Featured strings which built to a dramatic conclusion. Lyrically, the song makes indirect references to the film's characters, of course, Bruce Wayne, which was played by Michael Keaton, and Selena Kyle / Catwoman, played by Michelle Pfeiffer. All right, Face to Face, finishing out our Siouxsie and the Banshees list, and it's a real testament that, man, they were asked to do the theme for a movie that was this popular, this big. Tim Burton, obviously a legendary director. It's kind of tight that they were able to do this, not having a lot of success here in the United States, and I think that string just kind of fit that darkness that you would have in Gotham City, and just with that kind of Catwoman, Batman interplay and whatnot, and it was cool to see Siouxsie in there as well, kind of rocking the Catwoman leather suit, as well as some cool shots with her like looking in the mirror, like face to face. I thought that was a cool touch. Not going to be among my favorite tracks on here, but I like it for what it is, man. And I thought the strings, that composition, and that addition in there made it a bit of a memorable tune in the rest of the songs that we've had on this list up to this point, which is going to bring me now to my favorite tracks on this list. I wanted to shout out Deep Blue again. I think that he was able to showcase the different styles of Siouxsie and the Banshees. We took it from their very first single, in 78 all the way up to 92. Got a lot of different, examples of their sound throughout the year, and it was cool to see them mature, see what they did different, see that they weren't scared to experiment with some genres. Definitely a band that I think, especially their that late 70s to mid 80s work is going to be something that I think I'm going to really enjoy. My favorites on here are going to be Dazzle, It's going to be 92 degrees, and it's going to be Kiss Them For Me, with a big honorable mention to Cascade as well, especially with Robert Smith on that guitar. As you can see from this video, I really enjoyed the majority of this list, and I was impressed with Siouxsie and the Banshees, man. Let me know your favorites from this list, and just in general, your favorite Siouxsie and the Banshees tracks and records. Let me know down below. Be sure to give Deep Blue some love in the comments as well for bringing this to me today. I enjoyed it, and another band to dive into in my list that seems to never end, which that's fine with me, man. Music forever, right? And until next time, y'all, thanks so much for watching. Happy listening, and I'll see you next time.